You're listening to Something Cheeky, a collection of podcasts where two sisters discuss TV, books, and movies with just enough irreverence and far too many pop culture references. Welcome to Something Cheeky, the Gentleman Bastards edition, where we discuss the Lies of Locke Lamora, book 1 of the series by Scott Lynch. I'm Nikki.
I'm Rosanna.
Well, I've read the entire series. Rosanna's only read up to what we're covering today, which is Chapter 8, The Funeral Cask. In this chapter, Locke is abandoned by the Falconer and thus alone again, naturally. Also probably dead. Alright, Rosanna, what's your reaction to this chapter?
It wasn't good, Nikki.
I figured it might be the case.
It wasn't a good chapter. It wasn't a good reaction. I don't remember what I said I thought the funeral cask was going to refer to. Do you remember what I said?
I think you just meant like casket or something. Nazca's casket.
This is not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I am confused. I think is a good word. Unsettled. Concerned. Very concerned.
Quite a cliffhanger at the end there.
Yes, and okay, listen to this. When I got to the end of this chapter, I was like, no, I'm not even reading the interlude right now because I can't. I can't right now with what is happening because I can't read the next chapter. I had to wait like 3 days before I could read the interlude. Because what?
Yeah, if this were a TV show, that would have been the season finale.
And it would have been a really good one.
Yeah.
But I mean, he can't die. But like, why?
Can't?
Can he, Nikki? Where are we going with this? I'm uncomfortable with what you're saying right now. I just don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, what's the Falconer doing? What is the Grey King doing? Did something change, or was this the plan all along?
Those are all very excellent questions.
So, that is my reaction to this chapter.
What was your favorite quote?
My favorite quote is when the Falconer is talking in Locke's mind, when the confrontation is just starting. The Falconer says, "Nothing is as it seems. Stand resolute." So, nothing was as it seemed, I suppose, because I think this is what Locke was expecting to happen. But then it went very, very differently than... And he tells him to stand resolute and then lets him get attacked? What?
So do you think that this might affect what happened at the end of the chapter versus the actual beating part, or that he just wanted him to continue to keep up the facade of the Grey King and not admit it was him?
Maybe. I can't tell what the Falconer, or I guess the Grey King through the Falconer, what they were trying to get out of this, because I don't think it is what was told to Locke. So I don't know where he's at. I don't know why I think he's saying stand resolute because he wants him to just continue with this path and just to stay like in character. But he says nothing is as it seems. But it is kind of, it's it seemed as it seemed to Locke, and then it just all went very, very wrong. So I just don't know. From that point where the Falconer says that to Locke, from there it went bananas.
It did.
It just went completely. I had no idea that that's what was going to happen. Obviously, I had no idea that was going to happen.
Well, the shit is bananas.
It is! It's totally... And poor Locke he's so good. He's so good at what he's doing. And then he just gets the absolute crap kicked out of him.
Yeah.
And the whole time in his mind, he's like, I'm so sorry, Nazca. And I'm just like feeling all these emotions for him because he's doing something that he had no way out of.
Yeah, he was completely stuck.
Yes! So I just...
I understand it's making you have a hard time finishing sentences. That's what I'm getting. Okay,
I'm one of those guys with people that the more emotional I am, the more half sentences I say. That's very true. Good catch on that one, Nikki.
Mm-hmm. Well, listeners, I apologize if I sound weird. I have a bit of a cold.
You sound like a little bit deeper. You should do like a...
I'm Batman.
That was a terrible Batman. You gotta be way more gravelly.
Batman. It's like, I'm Batman. And now I just sound even worse.
I'm Batman. Was that not very good, was it? I'm Batman.
I don't know why that just makes me hear Abed in Community when he was Batman.
Yeah.
So he did an amazing Batman voice.
Okay.
He was good.
If you / people listening like Batman, you should totally see the Lego Batman movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
You should see it.
I don't know if I will see it. Okay, I'll consider it.
It's Okay, I don't usually like cartoon stuff, but it's so funny.
All right, fine.
Okay, my Batman conversation is complete. We can move on.
So what happened in the book? We start with the funeral procession, which is very funereal, as expected.
And far. Seems like they went really far.
It is far. Usually they would go from the floating grave to the Hill of Whispers, but they have 12 pallbearers, represent all the different Theran gods. There's also the priestess for the Nameless 13th, which I liked as an addition. And they started at 10 p.m., which seemed pretty late for a funeral procession. But I guess since they're going to party afterward.
And get it in a fight first. Yeah.
That's true. But I guess there's always a party after funerals, it sounded like, with the traditional funeral cask. Everybody gives it a wide berth, even the Yellow Jackets. Or I liked all the naming of the different gangs that were there. Red Hands, Rum Hounds, Grey Faces, Arsenal Boys, Canal Jumpers, Black Twists, Catchfire Barons. I really like Black Twists.
Yeah.
That sounds like the coolest one. Also, Nazca's not actually in the casket, and they're not actually going to the Hill of Whispers, going to Echo Hall. Then we get to Locke, who's getting his voice just right. He's getting dressed by the boys, and all made up.
And aged. That sounded cool.
Very well. I bet real makeup artists for movies read this, and they're just angry that they just have this little product that makes perfect wrinkles.
Yeah, I need an alchemist.
The description of the rust water is really creepy, where apparently nobody is.
Yeah.
It's a dead island, and it was said that the black shapes that moved in the rustwater lagoon were nothing as pleasant as mere man-eating sharks, but something worse, something older.
Yep.
He even works on his accent, too, which, what a surprise, he can do another accent perfectly.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's planning to pull a stunt of throwing himself over the waterfall if it goes badly. He's just going fugitive style on this one.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he should have done that.
Maybe before he got to that point. Well, there was nobody behind him when he was kind of when he first started getting beaten.
Yeah.
But I think that would have been pretty drastic.
I think he had a lot of faith that he was going to be protected better than he was.
Yes. Yeah. I was really happy when Bugs started the liar bastard game.
Yes.
I'm only doing this because it just reminded me that they're all so close. Yeah. It's very nice. And then, of course, the Falconer has to interrupt and tell them all to hurry up and that they're being too noisy.
Okay, but that was like almost my quote because I thought it was so funny. When he was like, what did he say?
I can hear you shouting, came the ghostly voice of the Falconer. Have you all gone completely mad?
Yeah.
Locke sighed. Uncle doesn't like us keeping him up all night with our carrying on.
Well, and of course, in my mind, the Falconer is Tom Hiddleston, so I can just see him rolling his eyes. Have you all lost your mind?
I enjoyed the description of the echo hole.
You enjoyed it? I thought it was creepy as heck.
It was creepy.
Very creepy.
The echo hole is a cube of gray stone mortared with a dull sort of elder glass. It never gleams a false light. In fact, it never returns the reflection of any light passed before it.
Which is really weird. What's weird about it is that what we've heard a lot is that it sort of absorbs light and then puts it back out, kind of. And this, it's like blocks it. It doesn't get in or back out. Yeah. So it's really strange.
It sounds dreary. It almost sounded prison-y to me, like the prison gray dull.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Feeling. Also, what is it for? They said it seemed to be touched by some ancient ill.
Yeah, what is any of this weird stuff for? It's just this whole place seemed like the set of a very scary movie.
Mm-hmm. Jean and Bug are already under the floor, though it's never described exactly how they get there, so there must be some sort of floor above the elder glass structure.
Yeah, I had a really hard time imagining what this space looked like. Like level-wise, like wall-wise. I mean, how big is this area?
It never did say.
It's not really specific, so I don't know if it's maybe just up to our imagination.
It's larger than I originally imagined since it holds over 100 people.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I was thinking of a much smaller space.
Me too.
When I first described it.
I was picturing the floor as some sort of like a wooden deck layered on top of the elder glass that they can fit underneath. Mm-hmm. Like later humans had gone in and built it to make it walkable.
Yeah. I was imagining just like a cave sort of a feel.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's right.
In one of the Dresden Files books, there is this cavern that one of the vampires has in the back of their estate. Uh-huh. And there's this hole. They just throw bodies in there.
Ew.
And they don't know where they go. No one has ever come back. That's what I thought of with this.
Wait, they throw live bodies?
Mm-hmm.
They just throw people into a hole?
Mm-hmm. To get rid of them. Yeah.
Like, they're just like, you're making my life uncomfortable, I'm going to throw you in a hole? Uh-huh. And then nothing happens?
And then the people die down there, wherever they go.
So it's so far they can't even see?
Yeah, it's creepy.
Now I kind of want to read that too.
You should. The books are fun.
I've read the first one, but
I think it's maybe the third or fourth.
Dad's always saying that I need to read the rest of them too, and let's just say I'll put it on my list. My very, very long list.
Locke is there waiting as the Grey King, pretending to be him, trying to... I would imagine he'd be trying to pump himself up, like pre-game, kind of. The funeral procession entrance is so cinematic to me. I'm going to read part of it because it was so interesting. Locke heard the Kappa's procession before he saw it. The sound of funeral drums came through the open door to the street, muffled and nearly drowned out by the falling water. Steadily, it grew louder. A red glow seemed to kindle beyond the door, and by that light Locke saw that the grey mist had thickened. Torches flickered softly, as though glimpsed from underwater. The red aura rose. The barest outline of the room around him became visible, etched in faint carmine. Beating of the drums ceased, and once again Locke was alone with the sound of the waterfall. That was such a movie scene to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Very intimidating.
Yeah.
At this point, he's given himself over, basically, to the Falconer. Yep. He has no control over what's going to happen.
And it's not even that he has so much trust in him. It's just that he had no other option. What else was he going to do? And I like that the Kappa Barsavi, he's very sort of cinematic, like you said. But this to him is a huge deal because it is revenge for his daughter's murder. And so he's gone all in on it. He's bringing everybody. He's doing it his way. He's making a big production of it.
That's a good point.
And, you know, if this wasn't Locke, I would be totally on board with Barsavi. I mean, I completely understand his distress and his sadness and his anger. But because it's Locke and not actually the Grey King, I'm like, why can't you just, like, let it go, man? But, you know?
I always feel that way with the show Vikings. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's only because we're watching it from their perspective that we don't hate them. Because they're terrifying.
I like that with a lot of stuff, actually. Yeah.
It's so easy for shows to get me on the side of a character that objectively would be very unpleasant.
It's all about perspective. It really, really is. Because I gotta tell you, also, if I was on the side of somebody that got ripped off by the Gentleman Bastards in the last couple of years, I probably wouldn't be feeling too sorry for Locke at this point. Yeah. So, also perspective.
He got himself into it.
Well, yeah, I still don't want him to be there, though.
Yeah.
So, you know, the thing, too, is, yes, he robbed people. They have taken money from people. But he never recently killed anyone. Technically, as a child, he accidentally
It's a nice qualifier.
But, I mean, none of these cons were physically dangerous to the people. I mean, he's not out to kill people, and that's exactly what the Grey King did. A lot of people, not just Nazca.
I wonder how much of the fortunes of the people he's taken money from he took. Because I know for Don Salvara, he's only going for half of it. But the other ones, did he take anyone's complete savings? I can't imagine he'd leave someone completely penniless.
You know, it's hard to say because it's like they've already said that they don't need the money. They have a lot of money. So is the motivation just to see if they can get away with it?
Seems like it often.
Right. So even though that's dishonest and stealing and all that kind of stuff, it's not completely mean-spirited. They're not doing it out of, like, revenge. Like, you've harmed me, so I'm going to take all your money. It's not like that. It's just like, you have money, so I'm going to take some. So... Which
is also pretty bad.
I know, but I hope at some point we get an interlude where Father Chain says, these are how we pick our marks, and this is why we pick them. That would be great. We'll see.
Where do you think the Falconer is at this point physically? It seems like he knows what's going on. Can he see what's happening? Is he just kind of listening to what Locke is thinking?
So there's no mention of Ventress anywhere in this chapter at all. So it's hard to say if he can actually see what's happening, because that's the only way I could think he could. However, he must. You know what I mean? I haven't been given that information, but he must be able to see what's happening.
Why do you say that?
Because... I don't know, I guess maybe are we saying that the spell that he's using to protect Locke from blades and cuts or whatever is something that he put on before that he doesn't have to maintain? It seems like if you have to maintain it, you need to either be able to see it or be nearby. Maybe he's disguised as one of the 100 warriors.
That'd be interesting, just a hooded figure at the back.
Just like slip in like Locke did when he was a kid. I don't know where he is. I think if he's smart, which I believe he is, he's not very close at all.
Okay.
Because if Locke gets out of this, the Grey King and the Falconer better run and be well protected, because I can imagine that Locke's going to be pissed if he doesn't die in a vat of horse urine.
He's not already dead.
He can't be. I don't even believe that. I mean, I think you're trying to make me think it could happen, but I'm not buying it.
All right. You believe whatever you want to believe.
I'll tell you what, in about an hour, I'm going to be reading the next chapter, and I'll know exactly what happens.
Will you?
Yes. Wait, what? If they leave me hanging and they're like, 6 months earlier, this happened, I'm going to lose my mind.
I'm just saying, you don't always get immediate gratification.
Well, I never do right now. I mean,
That's true. That's true. I'm really glad I'm not you in this podcast.
Oh, I bet you are.
I'd be going crazy.
Yeah, I bet. This is one chapter a week is very difficult.
Yeah.
If anybody is listening and is actually just reading one chapter a week with me, I would love to hear from you and see what you do to pass the time in between these weeks to distract you from the fact that you can't read the next chapter. Because I'm going to guess that most of you have read way ahead or have already read this book and are laughing at me just like Nikki. So thanks for that.
I will say, in honor of helping you with this, I am only reading the chapters one at a time.
Yeah, that doesn't really make me feel any better because you've already read them. So you already know if Locke survives or not. Yeah. You already know if we get to meet Sabbatha. You already know how Father Chains died. You already know.
Locke meets Sabbatha at the bottom of the waterfall, and they live happily ever after.
Aww, I don't think that's...
Smelling slightly of horse piss.
Slightly.
The waterfall is going to help a little bit, right?
I don't know. From how Locke described it, it sounds pretty pungent.
It really did.
Yeah, because it made him gag and cry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the Kappa made fun of him for crying. Look at the Grey King cry. It was such a playground kind of... I don't blame him for it.
Well, I was going to say, but then again, you can't blame him. I mean,
yeah, you really can't.
He's just grieving hard. And a lot of people, they turn their grief to anger, or at least for some time. So yeah,
Locke has to start talking as the Grey King and kind of improvise what he thinks may be the Grey King's motives, like possibly taking over the city. What do you think the Grey King's motives are? I know you've given some theories before. Do you still feel they're the same?
I don't know. This guy, we just don't have enough information about him.
We really don't.
The only thing I can think is that he's got... I don't know if maybe I've mentioned this before. I feel like he must have a grudge from history against Locke or Kappa Barsavi, or both, because it seems like he's really getting at both of them. So this seems like either he's a total sociopath and doesn't care, or somehow he's punishing Locke and Barsavi in the same motion.
This time it's personal.
Exactly. I mean, if he is a sociopath, then he wouldn't have feelings, so it wouldn't matter. Maybe he's just doing it for fun. But I don't think that that's what we're getting. So what motivation could you possibly have to get these two people in this sort of face-off where somebody's going to die, possibly, and then also kill all these other people before that? What is his damage? Yeah, I just don't know.
So poor Eamon, who is dying, comes up and touches Locke. And everyone's shocked that he can be touched.
Right.
And at that point, fuck, thought Locke. And although he knew deep down it would be the Falconer killing the man and not himself, that right there stopped me when I read it. Yeah. And I immediately thought, notwithstanding all the other people that are there, that he would have to fight, if Eamon attacked him, would he actually try to kill him if he had to? If the Falconer didn't step in, if it was just Eamon there, would he be willing to do that to keep up this charade?
I don't know. I mean, I think if he was attacked, he would do whatever it took to protect himself, in self-defense. But he's not really like an intentional kind of killer.
Well, and even the self-defense is really difficult because it's not for him.
Right.
It's for someone else's persona.
Right, but it is also actually his life.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know.
I just wonder if he would just break at that point and admit.
Well, he already even said in there that he wanted to do that, but he couldn't because then he knew they'd go after, the twins and Bug and Jean, and he was willing to die to protect them, which, of course, I love. So sweet.
I appreciate the loyalty.
Yeah, me too. Especially in a place that seems like they don't have a lot of that.
Unlike some Vikings we know.
God. Don't even get me started on Ragnar right now, because that guy is on my shit list.
Listeners, you need to listen to our other podcast, Vikings, because we just watched the season finale and everybody's angry at everybody.
Including me angry at everybody. Yeah.
At that point, did you think the Falconer might actually abandon Locke since he didn't seem to be protecting him? Or were you still holding out hope that he would jump in and save him at some point?
Oh, I was definitely the optimist at that point. Expecting him to jump in at any moment and save him. Yeah.
I was waiting for him to just swoop in and say, no, and suddenly everyone falls back
or just forgets why they're there and just like turns around and leaves. Just like, wait, what are we doing here? Nah, let's go drink some ale.
Mm-hmm. Knowing the Falconer, they'd all just throw themselves off the waterfall or something.
Oh, that would be kind of... I mean, I don't know. Maybe I have too much sympathy for all these people.
Do you think that Kappa was actually right about the spell being so specific about not being able to be pierced? It wouldn't protect him from bruising. Couldn't the Falconer have just cast something new to protect against that?
I think yes. I think definitely... That's part of my confusion. I think if the Falconer wanted to protect Locke at that point, he could have. I'm not sure why he didn't, but I definitely think he could have. And then also, when Kappa Barsavi's talking about the spy from that camp, the guy that got mad and left and went to talk to him, who is he talking about? Who is this person? I thought the Grey King and the Falconer were like just a duo. Are there more people as part of this group? I didn't think there were. Has it said somewhere that there are more of them?
It has not.
So, is this the Falconer that has shown up and told Kappa Barsavi this is how you get around it, and then he just didn't protect Locke when that happened? So did the Grey King show up at Kappa Barsavi's place and pretend to be somebody else from that camp and give him information?
That'd be fun.
Are they either the Falconer or the Grey King feeding Barsavi information to get Locke in more trouble? I feel like that has to be the case because I don't know why there would be more than two of them. It seems like the two of them can take care of everything that needs to be done. That's all we've seen. I don't know. Maybe there are other people, but to me it seems like it's one of them.
From what I've seen, the Grey King certainly seems arrogant enough to just stroll in pretending he's somebody else right into the middle of the floating grave.
Agreed.
And give all his information.
Absolutely. But why? What is this guy's plan? Is he just messing with people just for the fun of it?
Well, it's leading Locke to get completely beat up. So if it was him doing that, he wanted that to happen to Locke.
Yeah. Why?
Oh, there was a great touch with Angias Barsavi, one of the sons, where he punched Locke. By the way, this is from LOCK Lamora.
Yes. Here's a punch to you from you.
Yes. I'm sure Locke was unhappy that he had said, give him one for me.
I'm sure. Yeah. How could he possibly have known he was going to have to pretend to be him?
Oh my god.
I mean, Locke's smart, but that just came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. We quickly learn the funeral cask is not filled with alcohol, as is tradition. It is full of horse urine. I'm guessing you did not suspect that was the case when they mentioned the cask before.
No, of course not. No, that did not occur to me at all.
By the time they've got Locke in the barrel and they're sealing it up, all I was thinking is, where is Jean?
Yeah, me too.
Also, if Jean actually appeared, I don't think he'd be able to do anything.
No, I mean, he'd get totally overtaken.
So maybe could he be making some other plan?
Maybe he's just planning on as soon as they let go of Locke to go in after him.
Maybe. But that must have been so hard for them to stay quiet while Locke was getting beaten.
Especially because, Locke has said he's willing to die to protect the rest of the Gentlemen Bastards. And I feel like that feeling is probably mutual.
Oh yeah, it seems
so
that way.
To watch somebody who to you is your brother be put not only into a deathly but humiliating and horrible way to go, but to be put into that and not be able to do anything.
And knowing Locke the way they know him, they probably think at any second Locke's going to come up with some way to get himself out of this.
Yeah.
And they just keep waiting for that to happen and it just doesn't.
So predictions. What I'm hoping, as the optimistic person I am, is that somehow they knew, the Falconer knew, the Grey King knew that they were going to put Locke into this horse pee barrel. And they were created a, Do you remember?
Oh God, I know where you're going.
Do you remember during the Triwizard Tournament in Goblet of
Oh,
Fire?
that's exactly what I thought.
Victor Crumb. No, not Victor Crumb. He turned into a shark.
He's a shark.
Cedric Diggory used a bubble charm to create an air bubble from around his nose and mouth. And that's how he did the task where they dove underwater to the mermaids. This is what I'm hoping happened. I'm hoping that the Falconer did a bubble charm to save Locke. And maybe the Grey King doesn't hate Locke, but he wants to seem dead.
Okay.
And he knew Barsavi was going to kill him, so he wanted it to seem like he actually did die.
He was faking his own
Yeah,
death.
exactly, yeah. Because if Barsavi thinks that he killed the Grey King, he's gotten his revenge, and he's gotten rid of his competition. So that will make him, say, more comfortable, and then also less paranoid as he has gotten. Which, I don't know what the Grey King wants from Barsavi, but maybe he wants him to let his defenses down.
Well, the Kappa is about to throw a giant party and invite everyone.
Yes.
So it seems like if that's the hope, that he lets his defenses down.
It'd be a good time to blow up the House of Congress or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Is this that Sherlock episode now?
Kinda, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, get all of the people in one place and then blow it up. Sort of an idea. I'm just really pinning all my hopes on the bubble charm.
Somebody give Locke some gillyweed.
Yay!
Where's Neville when you need
He'd
him?
still have to breathe and smell it, though.
Better than dying in it.
Slightly. And so now this whole thing, now I'm starting to think, because every chapter we go through this where we talk about the Grey King, and you're asking me for predictions or questions, and I'm just thinking, my biggest issue is that I don't know what the Grey King's motivation is, and so I'm thinking that it must be some sort of vendetta. So now I'm starting to think, oh, maybe the Grey King has something to do with one of these past jobs that the Gentleman Bastards have done, and maybe somebody that's been taken in and robbed. I mean, this seems like a way overreaction for just being robbed, but, you know, some people get really mad about that. Maybe it's somebody even higher than the Grey King.
Maybe the Grey King is that dead son.
Yeah!
From the guy who was trying to find him, needed the soothsayer.
That's why you can't hurt the Grey King. He's a ghost.
Is that your final answer?
No. I think that's a terrible idea. But I mean, that's just something that had occurred to me as we were talking, and I don't believe too heartily in it, because it doesn't seem very likely, but right now it's all I've got to go on.
Yeah. So. I did want to bring up something slightly off topic. It's about Gentleman Bastards.
Wait, what? You're going to talk about something off topic? That's so unusual for us.
We never do that. Now, I started this Reddit thread about casting for Gentleman Bastards.
Yes!
And I put up our ideas.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun to see what people have posted.
Oh, do you know any of them? Can you tell me? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you can't see it because there's some characters on there.
Oh, it's a good thing I haven't looked.
Met, so you should, yeah, that's why I didn't give you the link.
Oh my gosh.
I just pasted some in our Slack message.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so we're trying to decide between, for Locke, Dylan O'Brien and Nicholas Hoult, which was a good idea.
Okay.
He's in X-Men movies, but he was also in, what was the zombie movie? He was the zombie, and it was like the Romeo and Juliet kind of, he played R.
Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies, that's right.
But yes, Warm Bodies. Yes, he was in those. He was,
I liked that movie. It was fun.
It wasn't like a lot like any other zombie movie that I'd seen, and I did like it. Yeah.
Also, it had Rob Corbett. Is that his name?
I don't know.
The other zombie guy,
okay.
Rob Corddry.
Okay.
From The Daily Show.
Oh.
And I love him. He's so funny.
Well, I like that actor. However, I'm still on Dylan O'Brien team. I'm Team Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah, I like him better.
He's just
I was really
adorable.
excited about my Jean. I thought Armie Hammer would be perfect for Jean.
I like that choice too, even though that is kind of a weird name. Armie Hammer? Like,
so
like Armie Hammer?
He's from that family.
What?
Yep.
They named him Armie?
I know.
Wait, is Armie a nickname or is that his full name?
I'm not sure.
Because that is awful.
But that might not be his birth name. They'd have to give him a fake belly, but he is massive. And Man from U.N.C.L.E. Also, he's good at the straight man and the humor.
And if they made him muscly, I think that would be kind of enough.
He is muscly.
Yeah, but I mean, if if he was more muscly than fat. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. If they just played Gene that way.
Oh, it's Armand. Armand Douglas
That's
Hammer.
better.
It's a little better.
That is a rich boy
but
name.
But they are calling him Armie.
At least he's not like the third. Just like, though he's, in a family of billionaires. Yes. So
he was born in 1986. So he's 31. Yeah. That's a little old, but he doesn't look too old.
No,
so
he looks pretty young.
I could go with that.
And Calvin Galdo, someone suggested, I hadn't heard of these guys, Edgar and Raphael Morais, maybe?
So how do you spell it?
Morais. I don't know I've never seen anything they're in.
Are they twins?
I'm not sure if they're twins or brothers. I thought it would be even better that they'd have to do the double thing.
Which I'm not a fan of. So I'm looking at a picture of Edgar and Raphael, and I'm not mad about it.
Alberto Rossendi, who's in Shadowhunters. He plays Simon. The TV show, not the movie. I mean, they're both terrible, but I can't stop watching it.
Yeah, actually, if he was twins, I would be super excited, but he's not, and I prefer two separate actors for twins. So I think I could go either way on this, but I do like the brothers. They would do, okay, I don't know if they do a good job, but they look the part. Yeah.
Someone said the person that posted it said that they're almost identical.
Yeah, they look a lot alike. Yeah.
So it could work.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody could come up with anybody for Bug, but we had Stellan Skarsgård for the Thief Maker.
Okay.
And Father Chains. We started with Jeremy Irons, and then we didn't like that one, so we ended up with 3 different actors that would work. Woody Harrelson, Paul Kaye. Okay, I don't know who it is. He's in Black Sails, I think. There's something I've seen him in, I can't remember what. Oh, he was in Game of Thrones.
Who was he?
You'll recognize his face.
Oh, interesting.
Also, Ray Stevenson, who I really like. Somebody thought he'd be perfect, or they thought of Gene for him, but he's way too old to play Gene, so.
Oh, he looks like a good thief maker. Yeah. I mean, I like the Woody Harrelson idea too, but this Stevenson, I think, looks good too.
Yeah, I think he'd be really good. So that's all we'll do for now. We'll do some more next time. I'll post the link to this so people can add more ideas if they want. Fun. But I don't want to go through all of them. Yeah. We can look at some next time because we came up with some really good ones. I'm excited. I'm glad people are participating. That's fun. Yeah, it's nice. In the next episode, we're going to discuss the next interlude called the Half Crown War. All right, Rosanna, what's your top 3 category this week? This week it is the top 3 ancient Eldren time mysteries, specifically in Echo Hole. Oh, okay. The first one is the black shapes in the water that apparently are worse even than the man-eating sharks, which sounds terrifying. I thought of Eldren giant squid. Yeah. But, okay, so they've been around a long time. If people don't even know really what they are, it's very like Loch Ness Monster-ish. And scary, I think. Yeah. Also, it's strange to me that there's this creature that nobody has, caught and looked at and dissected and figured out what it is. And when I called this section mysteries, it's because these are things that the people that are living in Comore don't know and have never figured out. They really are mysteries. Well, I'm not sure that whatever they think is in the water, I don't think they know it's not something they know of. They just suspect. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. So number 2, waterfall passages, some empty into no place known to living man. So that's also kind of creepy. How do you not know where it goes? Can't you throw some stuff down there and have people go to a bunch of different places and see where it comes out? I guess not. There are places like that on Earth. I guess. It sounds really scary. Kind of reminds me of the hole you're talking about from Dresden Files. Just throw it down there. And... It made me think of an oubliette, the place of forgetting. Yeah. Which that term is used a couple different ways. One is a very mystical kind of oubliette where it's just this hole to nowhere or to nobody knows where that you can never get out of. Also an oubliette, which I think is really creepy, is a dungeon that's basically a hole with a trapdoor at the top. So they put people down in this hole, and they can only get out through this trapdoor at the top and just leave them there. Or it's got bars. And they just starve to death? Yeah. Or maybe it's used for a form of torture. I guess. That's horrible. We stayed at this old castle tower in Ireland. We went a few years back, and it had one. It was scary. Yeah. I bet it was totally haunted. Oh, definitely. I looked it up. Devil's Kettle Falls is... north of Lake Superior. Oh, so in America even. The water falls into this wide hole and just vanishes. What? Nobody knows where it goes. They assume there's some exit point underneath Lake Superior.
Oh.
They've put dye, logs, ping pong balls, even a car
A
down
car?
inside and never seen it again.
What? A car?
It just has disappeared. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They can't. They've never been able to recover anything from it. Cameras don't get them what they want to see. They just never know where it goes. It's just mystery.
Like some sort of a portal to like a parallel dimension or another dimension.
It's a Stargate.
I mean, really, what else could it be?
Definitely.
Right?
Oh, there's a hypothesis that there was a lava tube that formed under the falls millions of years ago.
So it's just getting stuck?
And so it's going
and
there.
not going anywhere further?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a portal.
Oh, let's go with that. I like it. What was your third?
Okay, so the third one is, and this must be why I was thinking cave when they were describing where they were at Echo Hole. It says Echo Hole wall carvings, symbols in the tongue of the Eldren that men have never deciphered. They don't even know what it. They don't even know what it says. What? It's crazy to me.
Well, if you don't have a Rosetta Stone, you can't do it.
I mean, I think you can though. I mean.
Can't. Well, if you don't have any sort of thing to start with, I mean, you don't even know what any of the words would mean.
I suppose, but is this the only place in Camorra that has this sort of writing?
I doubt it.
Right? So
it's also scary that it's carved into the wall, and we know that humans have never been able to cut the elder glass.
Oh,
so there's also some
I
sort
didn't think
of
about that. Good job, Nikki. That's scary.
Tool.
Yeah,
there's some sort of tool, or maybe they have really scary long claws that can carve elder glass,
or like fire fingers.
Fire fingers.
Yeah.
Is this a new mutant superpower? I have fire fingers.
You know what? I love mutants. So yeah, the Eldren were mutants.
All right, I'll go with that.
Yay!
Okay. Though I'm still just picturing giant squid walking around, and those are the Eldren making.
Oh no, no!
Towers.
I don't like that. I don't like giant squid walking around places. They need to stay in the water where they belong, with the whales. So that's my top 3, and I feel like these Eldren time mysteries are not gonna get solved. I feel like we're just going to have to accept that this was so long ago or so different that that's just how it is.
We know that Scott Lynch is writing a prequel. Maybe he's writing a pre-prequel.
An Eldren story.
Back from Eldren time. And it's just going to be symbols on a page we can't read.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. It would be so frustrating, but also brilliant.
You could sell it as a really pretty picture book.
Well, and also maybe like you could buy a key or something, like not a key, a cipher or something, and have to figure it out. Of course, as soon as they did that, though, somebody would post online and it wouldn't be work anymore, and that'd be the end of it. So
no more Da Vinci Code madness.
No.
Though it would be really cool if they wanted to sell any Gentleman Bastards merchandise to make a block of glass that had etchings on it in symbols. I would buy that.
That would be cool.
That would be really cool.
I bet we could break it though, and that's not what Eldren glass is.
I'm not gonna try.
Okay, I guess it could be really thick, and you might be okay.
Yeah. Do you have any predictions for what's gonna happen? So I know you don't think Locke's gonna die.
Nope.
What do you think about what's gonna happen with Jean and Bug? What are they doing?
I swear to God, if they kill Jean and Bug, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Oh, no.
I can't handle it.
We haven't heard anything about them, so it sounds like they're still hidden pretty well.
Yes, and I hope that is the case. I think that Callow and Galdo are probably super stressed wherever they are waiting to find out what happens. I don't know.
Do you think they were able to stay where they were supposed to be?
Yes.
Do you think they would have wanted to go see what's happening?
They would have wanted to go see what's happening, but I think that they did what Locke told them to do.
Okay.
Because they know that that's the best plan. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that everybody in this situation wished that there had been such a thing as a cell phone, and Jean could have called the twins and said, hey, it's gone bad.
Bug's furiously texting on silent mode on his phone.
And I'm worried about Bug, too, because even though they all really care about each other and love each other and everything, Bug is young. And this is probably really scary because Locke is like his hero. I mean, he's
kind of like his dad.
This must be so hard for him also. I mean, that wasn't a very good prediction because I just really came up with more questions at that.
So I know you think Locke is going to live. How do you think he's going to get out of this?
Bubble charm. No, I don't know. Maybe because they threw him in the water, right? They threw the cask in the water.
It sounds like I'm not sure they described what water they threw him in. Did they throw him over the waterfall? Did they throw him in the kind of oubliette water? Where did he go?
I feel like Jean is, and maybe Bug and maybe the twins, I'm not sure, is going to go wherever the cask was thrown and break into it and get him out.
So you imagining the next chapter will open with Jean appears and dives into the hole?
I would like that very much. And then when he opens it, I want it to be Locke okay, because he's been magicked into being able to breathe.
With the bubble charm.
Yes, possibly. Though I don't know, because in Harry Potter, didn't the bubble break?
I can't remember.
I think it did. But, the Falconer's all like, ooh, look at me, I'm the best there is. So if he creates a bubble charm, it better be effective.
Is that something Tom Hiddleston would say?
Yes.
It seems less than dignified.
That's
Ooh,
true.
Look at me.
Ooh, look at me. I don't know, I could see him saying that.
It's time for Cheek of the Week, where we talk about something that we really like and want to tell each other about and to tell you about, listeners. My Cheek of the Week is because, obviously, I really like to watch movies, and when I watch movies, I eat tons of popcorn, as you should. And so the popcorn I eat, I've had all kinds of microwave popcorn, and it's fine, but the best popcorn I can make is with this air popper I have. That is amazing. It's super fast, too. Doesn't take really much longer than a regular container of microwave popcorn takes. It's by Wabash Valley Farms. It's called Whirly Pop Stovetop Popcorn Popper. There are a lot of P's. But it's really good. All you do is you just get like some bulk popcorn, and then you stick it in there, you melt some butter, use oil if you want instead of butter. I put a ton of different stuff in my popcorn. I make it with nutritional yeast and cayenne pepper and garlic powder and onion powder and paprika and salt and pepper, and sometimes all of those things, sometimes just a few. Extra butter most of the time. That you can put in basically anything. I've also seen recipes for making things like caramel corn as well, which I haven't tried yet because I probably don't need just a bunch of sugar-coated popcorn, even though it's delicious. So I will eventually try that. May have to let you know how it goes. But it's really easy to use. You just stick it in and you stick it on top of the stove and you just turn the little handle. Makes you feel very old-fashioned. There's a crank you get to turn to make sure it doesn't stick and burn on the bottom. And then you eat it. And it's amazing. And it's delicious. And it makes a ton of popcorn.
That's awesome. And a lot of talk about popcorn. I don't actually really like popcorn.
I don't know you. Who are you?
Yeah.
I disown you now, officially.
But I might like it if I added all that stuff to it. Or different combinations.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Adding the nutritional yeast, at first I thought was kind of weird, but it makes it's almost like a cheesy flavor.
And I do love caramel corn, even though I don't like popcorn.
Yeah.
So
it's really fun to make, and everyone putting in different stuff. And
I probably shouldn't learn that, though.
I always imagine it one of those things where the whole family's standing around putting in different things, even though it's always just me making my own popcorn in front of the stove. It's really good.
That's funny.
What's your cheek?
So my cheek of the week is a person / podcast / author.
Oh, that's a lot.
So I just wanted to talk about Gretchen Rubin. I started listening to Gretchen Rubin's podcast more than a year ago. She does it with her sister, coincidentally.
Oh, nice.
And the podcast is called Happier. And it's just it's like a really nice podcast about ways to make your life happier. She's got this great quiz on personality types, and then she calls it the 4 tendencies. And then once you decide or figure out which tendency you are, she talks about different ways to help yourself set and keep good habits.
Oh.
So it's really, really interesting, and it's based on how you deal with inner and outer accountability. So it's really, really cool. And every week she talks about that, and she and her sister talk about a lot of different things. She lives in New York, and her sister lives in LA. And so it's a great podcast, and it's called Happier. And then also Gretchen Rubin has written several books, and the few that I've read are The Happiness Project, Happier at Home, and Better Than Before. And The Happiness Project is this book that she wrote. She spent a year trying to be happier.
Oh.
And she found all these different, like pop culture, but then also actual research about ways people say you can be happier. And she spent the whole year trying out all different things.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, and it's this great book about what worked, what didn't work, and the things that did work, why they worked, and how to put them into your own life. And I actually listened to the audiobooks. I bought the books too, but she narrates the audiobooks. And I'm a big fan of when an author reads their own books. I just love what they put into it because they're stressing what's important to them. Mm-hmm. And so you're really getting what they want you to get out of the book. So I would recommend that to anybody that's looking for a new podcast, that's looking for, it's kind of a self-help. It's a self-help book. I mean, I guess it'd probably be in that section because, if you're trying to make yourself happier, but it's just a way to know yourself better. And she talks about that too. Know yourself better. And when you do, you can find things that work best for you because obviously not one thing is going to work great for everybody.
What's the best thing you've learned about yourself after listening and reading?
Okay, honestly, this is crazy.
Oh, yeah, be honest.
My entire day / week even sometimes is better if I make my bed every morning.
That's unexpected.
I swear to God that has made it makes me, not only does it make my day better because my room feels neater, it actually makes me want to keep the rest of my room neater. And then when I started doing it regularly, I decided to start decorating my bedroom. So I put things on the walls and I bought a prettier blanket and I don't leave my shoes out as much. There's something about having a made bed that, plus, if it's on the weekends, the chances of me getting back in bed are much lower if my bed is made. So I'm slightly more productive.
That's really neat.
There's a lot that I think people could get little bits here and there out of that really could make changes. She's great. I love her so much. I love listening to her podcast. I love listening to her and her sister talk. Mm-hmm. Highly recommend her in any form.
That's awesome. How do you spell her last name?
It's Rubin.
Oh, okay.
And you can also follow her on Instagram and Twitter, I think. And she's got a great website that's all about her podcast and stuff, too. And her podcast is produced by the Panoply Network.
That's
They do several. Yeah. All right. So, listeners, you can find all our Cheeks of the Week and send us your questions on our website, somethingcheekypodcast.com.
That's our episode. Please leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at SomeCheek and Facebook.com/SomeCheek.
Also, please visit our website and learn about our other podcasts.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Digga da dum, digga da 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 dum.